want to understand, like, at what point someone truly believes, like, this sense of entitlement. I don't get it. I mean, I obviously I understand the narc rage out and all of that. You know, I've dealt with that quite a bit. What are you hoping to accomplish here? Just cover up lies that you told? Like, that was your choice. If you included me in any of your bullshit, that was your choice. You included my name, not me. Not me. You included my name. You might have included my image, or, you know, an artificially generated one. And again, your choice. People believing that you can make other people pay for your choices. The really weird part about it is like, at what point do you recognize that the struggles that you've had in your life are from you constantly trying to do that to people? The lesson that you are missing is in the accountability you are refusing to take. Trying to take anything from someone who has cleared their karma. Okay, you know what that means, right? You know what that means, clearing karma? That means you've taken a lot of accountability, while also taking accountability for things that you didn't even need to take accountability for. You just took it on the chin because your peace meant more to you than the struggle. Spell work, witchcraft does not work on me. Voodoo does not work on me. All of the people that are included in this, I need you to understand something. You are sacrificing yourself. You are not sacrificing another person, okay? Someone has to come into agreement with energy. That's why your little Illuminati, that's why they make you engage in rituals. That's why they make you sign contracts. That's why they give you a card. That's not me. If you are dumb enough to believe that you will ever take anything from me, especially my purpose was birthed from my pain. My destiny was birthed from my pain. So how the hell would you believe that you could take that from someone, or that you would be qualified and really have no power? You believe you're powerful, but then you're trying to take something from another person. Make that make sense. If you were powerful or magical, you wouldn't have to take something from someone else. Those are the people that you get behind and choose to support. Those are the people. So who do you think that they're actually binding? They're binding you. Like, when you're put in a situation, I understand. Okay, I know there's a lot of real icky stuff over there, but which is why I'm not a part of it. At some point, you're gonna have to recognize, one, that you put yourself there, two, that you were there for a part of your purpose. And it doesn't mean taking revenge, throwing around more black magic, you know, trying to be the best, or trying to do that. It's about being the example of true power. And if you're a man, true leadership. Because there's plenty of people in that arena that likely have recognized that they made a bad deal, that they're being blackmailed, that it wasn't worth it. They're being canceled probably now. There's plenty of people that recognize that. Because everybody sits in a space of fear, not everybody, but a lot of people sit in a space of fear. I mean, look at anybody who breaks free or challenges their little system. They get roasted. But who gives a fuck? Because I can assure you, just like you'll see, anybody who is not assigned to this weird shit, we don't care. You only care because you're in it. You only care. You're preventing your own natural alignment. My alignment is always going to be a little bit faster because I've always believed in God. I've always had a close and intimate relationship with God. Like, literally since I was a child, okay? It may not have looked how other people thought it should look, but those same other people who believe themselves righteous enough to determine what another person's journey with God or Christ should look like, or, you know, Muhammad or whoever, and I was like, Buddha, whoever it is that is your guide, those same people that would judge you, have you looked at their life? Look at my mother. My mother was an adulterer who has a divorce. She's filed, I think, multiple bankruptcies at this point. I'm not even trying to roast her. But, you know, when you're dealing with narcissistic psychopath Jezebels, when you're dealing with that energy, because their whole world relies on controlling perception. Their whole world, their entire existence is about controlling perception. That's why they work so hard at planting seeds of fear, at changing people's minds, at telling them they have to worship them, okay? That's why they work so hard at that. I mean, some of these cultures breed within their little culture so that they can raise children into these ideologies. So for somebody like myself, naturally, we're going to have a little bit more compassion and empathy, but we're also going to have patience. And see, this is where people really get it messed up. They really do. It's almost to no fault of their own. I mean, it kind of is, because we all have choices. But their perception of me was based on who they see themselves as, because they don't have the ability to take accountability, so they're constantly projecting. And again, you know, it's like somebody lives on planet Earth and they're trying to determine how they're going to handle people that live on Mars. Okay? They're making all these plans from over here, but they've never lived over here. You feel me? So whatever you're planning and deciding over here, especially if you're adopting a groupthink, a hive mindset or whatever, this is a whole ideology behind the Freemasons. I'm sorry. It just is. And it's not good. It may have been semi-decent at one point. I'm not saying like all of the intentions and fundamentals of that organization were bad always, but it's a complete cluster now. There's too many cracks in the foundation. But the whole purpose of having a worldly hierarchy that forces you to reject Jesus is because they want to control the power. They want to be the puppeteer. And naturally, they're going to make it sound enticing with whatever they do. Same thing with the Eastern Stars and most of these secret societies. Probably not all of them, but most of them. It's because it's about the control. It's about the control because it gives them a better chance of survival. If anything should go wrong, they have a sacrifice. If anything goes wrong with whatever they're planning over here, right? So it's like, if you plan to come over here to Mars and resources, energy, so you plan on stealing it, and then last minute you recognize, oh no, they have predators we couldn't identify over here, and now we're all running to get away. Obviously, if there's more of you, they're gonna have a better chance of survival. They can throw you down, Tanya Harding your ass, and then they live. They recognize that their survival is dependent on you. They're going to do whatever they can, which includes gossiping, lying, defaming, defrauding, you know, making outlandish promises, making outlandish claims, really outlandish, to the point where it's like they are so trapped in their own delusion, they can't even see like what an ass they've just made of themselves. Still, other people who are looking in on any particular situation would look at it and be like, huh? What's going on here? They have an opportunity then to take accountability, to learn a lesson. But if they choose to keep going, eventually you're going to hit a wall. These people have had so many layers and generations of making deals, like a false sense of power, because they've never taken accountability. So everything is built off of a false sense of power. But they also then don't really believe in karma because they've been able to get away with things for a really long time. And so people often wonder, why? Why? How do they get away with this? If karma's real, how do they get away with it? The reason this happens is because they are a lesson teacher also. We're all here to learn lessons. And especially with like higher ranking demons or people with massive amounts of karma, no self-awareness, like completely delusional, they're a great teacher for other people, like in their outlandishness, right? It's like in this situation, the people like looking in from the outside, my mother being like somebody who didn't even really raise me, I've been on my own since I was 16. She had a boundary down for like 3 years. And on this side of the boundary was a guardian ad litem that she requested. It was a judge that she requested. Were people that recognized she made false claims. And then because she initiated all of that, she tried to get legal, binding to my children, and then tried to make me pay for it. And thankfully at that time, there's a judge there too. So there's eyes on that, right? And then there's a boundary, and a boundary was laid with her from people other than me at that time too. She chose to continue, right? So now anybody else looking outside of this little group where she doesn't have control is gonna look at that and be like, what the? That's obviously a lie. Like, we can see that this is happening. But see, because everybody is in that delusion and you're not stepping outside of it, you don't have the ability, because your perception is being controlled. You know, they say like when the devil can't get to you, he seeks out your friends and family. He seeks out the friends and the family because the reason he can't get to you is why? Because they can't control your perception. Because whatever they're trying to summon, whatever entity, they know they can't affect that person. So their only way of controlling perception is to control the environment around them. But that doesn't actually change that person. Because you got to remember, with me, I've been dealing with this woman for 44 years. Like, just this constant invasion and disrespect and dishonor and disgraceful behavior. And this time, when you lay a boundary down with someone, she has to text my son's dad, his parents, because he has her blocked, okay, because they didn't have any communication or anything before this. She calls him up. Okay, I haven't even talked to her. She knows nothing about what's happening. She's on the other side of a boundary for like 3 years. She's never been in my energy. She doesn't know anything about business. She don't even know, other than the time that we sat down and I gave her an opportunity to let her know that she was forgiven and, that I wasn't bitter, I wasn't angry. And then we laid some additional boundaries for which she could choose that would be safe for my children to still have a relationship with her. And so, because I didn't want to project onto my children. But I even told my brother at that time that my concern was going to be is like if I opened the door a crack that she was going to bulldoze. But again, because if God puts it on my spirit to offer her that opportunity to know that she was forgiven, there is a reason for it. It doesn't have anything to do with her. It has to do with me being obedient to God. That's what it has to do with. And I don't have to know the reason why. I'm sure I probably will down the road because he always confirms. He always lets me know. It always unfolds. She talks to my son's dad, which, why? Nick tells me, oh, your mom's going to get a 5150 on you. I'm like, oh. What? How does somebody who hasn't even been in my life for the last 3 years, knows nothing about me, knows nothing about what's going on in my life, how would she even proclaim to be able to do that? Okay, so right there, like, duh. And of course, because Nick is trapped in his delusional bullshit, he has this false sense of power also. He doesn't even recognize it's like, do you understand how this is going to come back to haunt? I don't even have to say anything. It's like, holy shit, these people are making this easy on me. And I say something to my mom, and all of a sudden she starts saying something that she would have had no way of knowing. None. Unless she was a part of it. And then I say, well, how'd you know that? I didn't tell anybody that. Her stuttering, right? Then all of a sudden it's amnesia. And then it's defensive, like, you're being disrespectful. Okay, well then I'm gonna leave. Because you can't be held accountable, that doesn't make me disrespectful. That makes me a 44-year-old grown adult that is independent, that is responsible for her choices, and has laid a firm boundary down with you, which you, once again, have chosen to disrespect. And now, this time, you will face the consequences of those choices. So anybody else a part of this group can continue buying in anybody's bullshit, okay? Just know there'll be no more of any of this bullshit. You have to be one delusional, dumb dipshit to believe that you could ever curse me, that you could ever hex me, or that I would buy into any of this bullshit. Your perception of me is not me. If any of the people in this group claim to know me, they would be able to call me on the phone. They would be able to get on a live with me. It has you in a space of projecting onto other people and not actually knowing other people. It has you not creating, never feeling bonded to anyone truly, because you're not in control of yourself and you're not doing the work on yourself. Whole entire alignment is reflective of what you want reflecting back to you. You know what I'm saying? And so you're trying to control other people, other people's reality, and then wondering why yours keeps ending up fucked up. You know what I'm saying? Especially though, if you are doing black magic, witchcraft, divination, anything like that that is a projection onto other people. Nobody has the ability to predict another person's future. That's different than prophesying. Is working with me, or I'm working with somebody else in a spiritual way, a spiritual leader. They're always going to be growing you as a person, not growing them with your energy. Not projecting onto you what they want for you. Not trying to control you. That's how you know they're false. So, you can totally mess up your whole world just by not being present in your own intentions. It's like people who do spell work, witchcraft, they develop giant egos. Okay, pretty much everybody's a narcissist, or you have narcissistic tendencies if you're doing that shit. Sorry, it's just the truth. Selfish. If you're trying to control another person's will, that is selfish. Okay? And it's dumb. You believe that you are all powerful, okay? This is actually a perfect example of this. And you're projecting whatever your spell work, your voodoo, this like weirdo bullshit game, like the stuff that my mom tries to do for like so long. It's like everybody just loses sight of the fact that like there's a reason that I am not married, that I have not been locked down to any of these weirdos she sent my way to try to like do voodoo and break my heart. You know, the people she's paid to abuse me and like the weird shit these people do. It's never worked. So what would have ever given you the impression that it would work now? And the thing is like, it's only your ego that believed that it would work. D slid in my DMs. Whatever interaction or anything we had was like from a pure heart. Nobody can change how I feel about myself or how I feel about other people. Ever. Nothing. There's nothing. I hold people to a standard that I hold myself to, and also to being clear with them. If I have aligned to other people and there's something I need to gain from them, or, you know, they've been in my life for a temporary time, or we have aligned, just allowing people to grow and go where they need to go and come when they need to come in and teach you and learn and grow from each other. It's like, I don't understand this whole ideology of control, because all of this started for me like 5 years ago, y'all. 5 years ago. I was healing that entire time, clearing my karma. Like, there was nothing about like over giving to D or like being in some kind of delusion with him. I was honest with him the entire time. Whatever he told anybody else, that's his problem to deal with. You know, it's like, okay. And because I was so intentional about my healing, I was determined, and I had already made a commitment to God, that this was going to be the time that I was going to accept the blessing of the opportunity that I was being given, allowing anybody else to do the same. And they made their choices. I got through all of those cycles. It's just, you're not around seeing all of that, and I'm not a weirdo pick-me clout chaser fake flexer that needs to post to social media for validation from strangers. That's not my intention. But don't ever get it twisted that somebody like me got something because they're lucky. No. Nothing came to me through luck. Nothing. Nothing. You're delusional AF if you think that anybody has ever been successful based on luck. It's just because you also, at the same time, made an intentional effort with the most historical level. I'm sure they're going to write books about it, smear campaign that anybody's ever seen. Because of you did that, you also created a delusion that you then bought into. All right? Like, I wouldn't be where I am right now had you people not done what you did. And whether you want to tell anybody else about that or not, I know the truth. And once again, I have never come into any other truth other than that. You will never make me feel insecure. You will never affect my destiny. You will not control my relationship with anybody. That's within their control. Just like when Derek made the choice that he made to tell me that he had to consider his options. Well, by the time he told me that, it was because I was in a place that I was ready to move forward with my life. I want a witness for my life. I knew I was going to travel. And so I wanted more clarity because I had already gone through the processes of doing the work. It is only his fucking delusional mind that convinced him that he had any kind of like voodoo, that I had any kind of codependency on him, whatever fucking weirdo shit he told himself. Choice to not communicate. He made the choice to not give and receive with me in a reciprocal way. He made the choice to cast some weirdo projection onto me. It was like, as soon as he started doing that shit, I was like, huh? I was like, what? No. You know, it's like, okay. Like, that was his falling out of alignment. When he chose to, like, navigate back into my energy and I was just kind to him, it was because it's like, well, I was doing the work. Like, I wasn't putting an expectation on you. And no, I've been over here busy and stuff like that. But we could pick it right back up. Because I love this person. I care about you. I wasn't placing an expectation on you. But now I want clarity. Because I'm ready to move forward with my life. I've gone through all of that work that he claimed that he also was doing, but apparently he wasn't. And again, I don't need to blow down on him about that. What would I? You know, it's like he had already lied to me for such a long period of time. It's like, okay, well, now the trust is broken. And you clearly don't care about me, because people that care about other people don't do that. They don't treat other people like that, especially not on Christmas Eve. And then never actually take accountability. And then go as far as all of you went, which is truly sick and disgusting, and you're still doing it to this day. But because of what all of you get into, you had some delusional belief that there would be a good outcome here because you felt like you had some kind of control over me, or you were just listening to some bullshit or some fake account, one of the many, probably hundreds, that some delusional, wicked ass, twisted, low life bitch created. What? Why is that person not like out to sea? Why is anybody allowing any of the women who took part in attacking me to like control any of your thoughts or feelings? Like, they are dirtbag pieces of garbage shit. And I'll tell you that straight to your face, but you don't have the guts to do that. And the thing is, it has to be you that breaks that pattern for you. It has to be you. But when somebody loves you just from a pure heart and good intentions, that's why God uses me the way that he does. Because I don't have ulterior motives with people. I never asked Derek for a damn thing. I gave him respect. I showed him honor. I gave him kindness, patience. I shared my wisdom with him. If he wants to make the choice and turn around and show me who he is, which, by the way, he also asked me himself to pay attention to that part. And I did. And he did. And I responded accordingly. I kept it pushing. Like, I don't understand. Who I knew this person to be, like, the level of stupidity involved here, it doesn't fit. That's the only thing for me. It's like, what? But also it kind of works against him, right? It's like, my son's dad, and it's like, no offense, but this is just truth. And my ex 5 years ago, like, they're dumb. They're not really that bright. I mean, they have their strengths and all that. But as far as like actual level of intelligence, it kind of works against somebody like D, because it's like, no, you know better. Like, that's why it's like, no, you can't tell me you didn't know better, because you did. It's like, that was the piece for me. It's like, well, I can't give him the benefit of being dumb. So it's like, no, I know you know better. So you knew better and you did it anyways. And for that makes it very clear to me what your intentions were. But like, I'm so fucking confused. Like, that was 2 years ago. Why are any of you in my energy? You've made the choices that you made. You made the choice to try to steal from me, to copy me, doppelgate me, make fake accounts, like try to be in some kind of fucking weirdo one-sided competition when I don't even know who you are. I don't compete with people. And if a man is putting you in a competition with another woman, that man does not care about you. And for him to ever even let it cross his brain that I would be a side piece or a secret, You had me entirely fucked up from jump. And don't ever, 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 ever let anybody, him or anybody else, convince you or make you think because they're a jealous fucking weirdo, probably a part of the manosphere, red pillars, of literal narcissistic perpetual victims whose wives look like they picked them up out of the sewer. No offense, it's just truth. It's like, that's why they have to have OnlyFans and like these girls on there that like can't defend themselves. So like they can prop themselves up and look like some kind of hard ass. You're not, you're a piece of shit. Okay, not D, just anybody in that organization. But like you look at where their lives turn out all the time. So why would you follow behind that bullshit? Seriously, why? Nobody should be any kind of extreme of one of the other or be making general sweeping statements about anybody, because look what ends up happening. You end up fucking up your whole destiny. You end up having someone who likely, for probably more than just D, maybe this entire group of people, could have been a guide to all of you. Unconditionally. Just helped you grow in your purpose. But here you are still trying to fucking attack me. Still sending weirdos my direction. I just had some fucking guy in the park the other day like try to run up on me. And yet you're gonna call yourself a man. Try to convince people you care about me. None of you care about me. None of you. Nobody that cares about you sitting back and watching all of this bullshit happen definitely wouldn't be allowing anybody to be stalking you, to be running up on you in the park, intentionally trying to hold you in fear, trying to strip everything away from you, like trying to demand that you do this or that. No man, hear me and hear me well, ladies, on this one. No man that can actually provide for you, no man that has the capacity to actually lead you anywhere good would ever try to break you down. They're never going to take anything from you. If they can provide for you, if they actually can provide for you, they are not going to take anything from you. They're not going to break you down. That's not normal, okay? Stop following behind the dusty crusties, okay? The old men who actually have not proven any of the shit that they speak to be truth. Any of the weirdos who think that they're magical, they're not, okay? They just have giant egos. They sound stupid. Okay, men that can support you, men that want to provide for you and protect you, they don't give a fuck what their bra thinks, okay? They understand that vulnerability is actually sexy to high value women. They understand it's to their benefit to be that way. They understand the meaning of true intimacy. They don't give a fuck what other people think. There are men out here right now, and this is likely why these weirdos are trying to hold me in this little container, and like they're pick-me's who are jealous as fuck instead of growing themselves. They want to try to control me because they understand how rare a high value woman is. They understand how rare it is to have somebody that is loyal, that is kind, that is giving, that is selfless. But like, you think you're going to come back in after taking everything from me and I'm going to be like, huh? That doesn't have to do with an illusion. That has to do with me seeing who you are through your action and through your non-action. That's a choice that you make individually. Every person in this situation is making individually. Again, has nothing to do with me.